on Cardinals Today, we've got a new update on the Josh Sweat trade rumors that have been going around and an updated look at the Cardinals signings in free agency. A couple new ones came in we haven't talked about yet, and then some free agent targets we can get into for Arizona because they're not done. They still got some cap space to work with. Welcome into Cardinals Today, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and look, we are so close to 2,000 subscribers. Only 84 more people need to hit that subscribe button for free. I'm giving you Cardinals content as often as possible every single week, all off season long. If this is your football team, hit that subscribe button. And there's one reason I really want to push to there even more, and that is because we have an NFC West subscriber battle here at Chat Sports, and the Niners are killing everybody. I'm not kidding. That channel is at 193,000 subscribers. The Seahawks are getting close with 86K. The Rams, who started recently, are almost at 6,000. And so, Cardinals fans, I'm tired of being last in the division. Tired of being last at Chat Sports subscribers division. So hit that subscribe button. I want Cardinals fans to show up and show out. Let's beat Rams fans, Seahawks fans, and Niners fans once and for all. Hit that subscribe button and join the Cardinals channel. All right, so we talked about this from Easton Butler, a Packers blogger, the other day on the show about how Josh Sweat had requested to make a trade per a source, and the Packers and Eagles would both be very interested in him. And then guess what happened today? Well, Mack Wilson, captain of that Cardinals defense, he actually replied to the tweet. He quote tweeted it and he said, "Cap. Means it's not true. Means it's false. Means it's lies. Josh Sweat did not request a trade." And so Mack Wilson is coming out and saying this did not happen. And does that mean that despite all the rumors, despite all the speculation, teams trying to trade for him, Josh Sweat is here to stay in Arizona? He's on that long-term deal. He had a 12-sack season last year. Does this mean that Sweat is not actually going to get traded? I think that's the direction we're headed in. But should this be the case, right? Should Josh Sweat be in Arizona still? Well, that depends entirely on the Cardinals' direction. Which way do you think Arizona is trending next year, right? It comes down to as simple as, do you think the Cardinals are going to be good or not? If you think the Cardinals can be competitive next year, can be competitive with their new head coach, your quarterback's not figured out, but if you think that the talented pieces on the roster, because there are plenty, is enough that you could somewhat compete in that NFC West next year, well then, yes, you keep Josh Sweat. He's one of the better players on defense, great free agency signing last year. You would keep Sweat and actually try to pair him up with another defensive end opposite of Sweat. Okay, this is what you do if you are going in the direction of winning. Win now, you keep Sweat. And then who could you actually pair him up with? Well, here's one free agent right now that hasn't gotten a signing yet. That is Joey Bosa. Maybe, just maybe, the Cardinals can pair him with Bosa. And now you've got a little recipe here on that defensive line. You got some good pieces elsewhere. You get the draft coming up with high draft picks in each round. You could start to build something. Bosa, I think, big name player, of course. The 2025 stats, maybe not the best year of his career, but he still is effective. He was still decent on that Bills team with 5 sacks, right? 29 total tackles, 5 forced fumbles. He's got a nose for the football. He's just been a successful player in the NFL in his career. Look, the last 4 seasons, production definitely been a little up and down, but you see multi-sack seasons each time, and he's really good at punching that ball out, forcing fumbles, and that's what you saw specifically last season with Buffalo for Joey Bosa. So, in terms of options, in terms of players you could bring in free agency still, what say you? Should the Cardinals go out and sign Joey Bosa to pair with Sweat and try to get some wins together next year, type S for sign, type D for don't? You let me know if you like it or if you think there's a better option out there for Arizona. Let me know in that comment section. The other half of this equation, what if the Cardinals are going to be bad? If you think they're going to be bad next year, why are we hanging on to Josh Sweat? This means you need to enter a rebuild. You could keep Sweat for a couple years to come, but if some team will pay you a high second, high third for Josh Sweat right now, and the Cardinals aren't going to be competitive next year, well, then it is time to explore a trade for Josh Sweat. You might even explore a trade for Marvin Harrison Jr. too. I talked to some people in the comments section about this yesterday, and it's the same story. I still think MHJ has some potential, but the Cardinals fans are telling me he's a bust. They're telling me they're giving up on him. If that's the case, you think his value is going to go down, then sure, you should ship him out now while he's worth a first-round pick, high second at worst. Okay? Maybe there's just too much hype around him, and he's all hype, not backing it up on the field. Fair enough. Whatever you think of MHJ could absolutely influence your decision on if Cardinals will trade him or not. But we're talking about Josh Sweat specifically here, and if the Cardinals are entering another 3-year rebuild, which it seems like they are, and we're all tired of it, we don't want to sit through it again, but if that's the case and nobody wants to hear it, then this would be the best move. And what you could do is actually draft David Bailey as the edge then, okay? Might be the best edge in the class. You get him with that top 3 pick, all of a sudden, you've got a young stud rookie on a rookie contract here in Arizona that's going to be there for a while through the rebuild, and eventually you fast-track this thing and hopefully get good sooner rather than later. Now with that 3rd pick, the other option is to get a right tackle. And Francis Mauigoa stands out the most to me. I'm starting to warm up to this idea a lot. I do like the signing that the Cardinals made, say, Amalu at left guard, but you still need a right guard. You still need a right tackle. And Mauigoa would fit that role. O-line is the most important focus for the Cardinals this offseason. I can't stress that enough. Whoever you bring in is going to need an offensive line. The bottom line, though, how can you predict them to be successful when you don't have a quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the league? You need the QB. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's your quarterback of the future. I don't think he's your quarterback of next year either. You won't be too competitive if he's a starter. And obviously, there are a lot of problems on that Cardinals team, injuries, offensive line. Yes, the offseason should be used to build that up. But I really think the Cardinals are eyeing 2027 to look for their QB. I really do think that is their plan here. And it makes sense. Build up this offseason by getting good offensive linemen, get some pieces that are young and help you for years. And all of a sudden, it doesn't have to be a full 3-year rebuild. You could fast-track this thing in 2 years, 1 year, if the offensive line is right, and then you get your franchise quarterback in 2027. So, all that said, weigh in for me, Cardinals fans, in the comments section. Will the Cardinals be competitive in 2026? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Because like I said, this should influence your decision on if you want Josh Sweat to be on the roster or not. I think he's a good, talented player, but you could use an extra high draft pick this year if you're starting to build up that roster, and other teams are very interested in him right now. Edge market is huge, as we're seeing in NFL free agency. Cardinals fans, we should also address this on the show. It just happened last night. Kyler Murray signed with the Minnesota Vikings officially. I've been predicting this for weeks, for months, so if anybody has been watching the channel, you know I was one of the first people to say this, and it was very expected that he would go join Minnesota of all the teams. End of an era here in Arizona. Got signed right away with those Vikings, and look, I don't think that Kyler was a bad quarterback by any means, but it was time to move on. He wasn't your answer, and they're looking for their next franchise QB in 2027, I do believe. Let's recap what the Cardinals have done in this free agency as well, and then I'll show you the top remaining offensive linemen they could go out and get. You got your kicker and punter back on a 1-year deal, as well as Tyler Algier, who joins that running back room, which is very crowded, I would say. James Conner's still a part of it. Trey Benson's still a part of it, and as you'll see, they re-signed another one of their running backs here. Gardner Minshew, for some reason, is a member of the Arizona Cardinals to back up Jacoby Brissett. I mean, you say it out loud, it's starting to feel like I would be voting rebuild right now in the comments section. L.J. Collier back with the Cardinals as well on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Didn't really pan out to what he was supposed to be, but take him for 1 more year. Isaac Seumalo, this is the good signing for the Cardinals, I would say. 3 years, $31.5 million, good value for the guard market right now. I mean, he's one of the much better guards in the league. You got your starter, he's experienced. Boom. Finally, good deal for Arizona. Roy Lopez will take him on over from Detroit for a 2-year deal, add to that defensive line. Kendrick Bourne, I think, is a sneaky good signing, too, the wide receiver position. He's had some good games in his career. Even last year, shock everybody, and people were picking him up in fantasy because of it. 2-year, $11.47 million deal to join that receiver room. Great solid option as a wide receiver 3 we're talking about here. Matt Pryor, also a member of the Arizona Cardinals now, and there it is, Bam Knight has been re-signed to Arizona on a 1-year deal. And then a couple new ones here for you guys. Casey Crater, long snapper, and Andrew Wingard, the former Jaguars safety, joins your Arizona Cardinals on that 1-year cheap $3 million deal. So they're using their cap space wisely. I think they've made some decent signings. I think they made some questionable ones, but they still got plenty more cap space to go. And I would say you want a right tackle if you can get one. You want a right guard if you can get one. So who are the top remaining guards left in free agency? Because there's not many right tackles to talk about. Braden Smith off the market already. I think they'll address right tackle in the draft. Plenty of good options in the first and second round there. Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, two former Cleveland Browns guards. I would say Wyatt Teller's a real candidate for Arizona here. Kind of reminds me of Sayamalu in a little bit in terms of the age and guard style of play, but I think Sayamalu's a better signing than Teller. Mekhi Becton was a big name once a long time ago, not last year. Age 26, he just looked awful with the Chargers. But he's available. So is James Daniels and Kevin Zeitler, who's pretty old but talented guy still. I don't think Tennessee brings him back. Some other ones you could look at. Chris Paul, no, not the basketball player, but the Washington Commanders guard. I think could potentially be joining the team here pretty soon. Good pass blocker. Needs some work in the run game, though. Falalele's terrible. Just ignore him. He's on the list, though, as an available guard. And a couple other options that you guys could get here in free agency at that right guard slot. And like I said, I think right tackle comes in the draft. Let's get to it for Cardinals Today by Chat Sports. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been your host. Make sure you subscribe and comment all your opinions on the Cardinals, my takes, what we talk about here on the show, what's going on. I really want to make this a big community where we can grow this thing, get plenty of Cardinals fans here. And you guys that are watching right now can be part of the first 2,000 subscribers once we blow this thing up and get to 100K like the Niners. So hit that subscribe button. It is free. I appreciate you all. We'll see you next time on Cardinals Today.